Special thanks to Elizabeth Yang and William Hung for agreeing to be our guest speakers for this event. Now, before we begin, a quick note, just so we get everything clear for the event, make sure to have your camera on so we can see your great faces, and also be sure to unmute yourself so we don't have any interference throughout the call. If you will have any comments that you want to add throughout the meeting, feel free to add that to the in the chat, and we'll make sure to get those out. Now, to start off the event, I would like to introduce our Director of the Center for Leadership, Jay Barbuto. Now, Dr. Barbuto founded the Center for Leadership in 2011 as a startup venture at Cal State Fullerton, and he has worked tirelessly to develop the center and its programs to where it is today. His Connect, Develop, and Serve mantra has captured the purpose and inspiration that all those that have spoken to Dr. Jay feel, as his inspiration and dedication to students is highly contagious. Now let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Jay Barbuto.
All right, thank you, Jericho. I really appreciate that. I want to welcome all of you to our first Meet the Executives event of the semester. This is so exciting, and it's so great to see so many people here on the call to really invest in yourself and give yourself that leg up, both here now this semester and also thinking in the big picture of your whole career trajectory. Today's an important day because for many of you, this is your first Leadership Scholar event. If it is your first Leadership Scholar event, give a thumbs up on your screen. Thumbs up if it's your first ever Leadership Scholar event. Let's have a round of applause for all of those folks that are attending for the first time. This is really a great decision that you've made to really become part of the Leadership Scholars Program. At the center, what we do is we connect, develop, and serve. Everything we do connects, develops, and serves. And this program is all about those things. We help you as students connect with executives. We help you as students connect with faculty and connect with industry. We also help you as students develop. We help you develop your leadership abilities by being able to learn and be mentored by executives, but also through training and professional development kinds of experiences that we create for you throughout your time here in the Leadership Scholars Program. And we serve, we give back, we make a difference, we make an impact on the community, and you're a part of that. And what's great about the Leadership Scholars Program is that we pull all these things together for you so that your engagement becomes that much easier to be involved, so that you can create those connections, invest and develop yourself as a leader, and find ways to give back and serve and start now fulfilling purpose beyond just what's good for you. I'd love to, I could talk forever, but what I want to do is the sooner I stop talking, the sooner we get to hear from our featured speakers today. I'm so excited about our featured speakers, but let me first just introduce our team, our staff. So we have Rosie Burkett, who is our program and event specialist. And hello, Rosie. And Rosie's been with us for over 2 years. She oversees the entire Leadership Scholars Program. She oversees every event that the center is involved in. Rosie's a superstar. Danya Bari, where's Danya? Danya Bari is our community and our business and community specialist. Everything the center does with industry, Danya is involved, whether it's us doing consulting for companies, whether it's us doing the TV show, whether it's a lot of our board meetings and board development kinds of efforts. She's involved to help industry and help the center stay connected and make sure that those things really happen flawlessly. And she is a superstar. She's been with us almost for a year. So we have an incredible team at the center. We have incredible students, and we have incredible executives, and you're going to get to meet 2 of them right now. Jericho, I'm going to put this back to you so that you can take us to the finish line and actually to the starting line. I am so excited for everyone that's here, and I can't wait. I can't wait. And if you've never heard William Hung, and if you've never heard Elizabeth Yang, oh my gosh, you are in for such a treat. Back to you, Jericho.
Thank you for that amazing introduction, Jay. Also, I wanted to mention that if you are interested in joining one of our 5 leadership boards, then you're in the right place, because this event will count as one of the 3 necessary events that you will have to attend in order to join our boards. Once you attend 3 events, you'll be contacted by our HR board, where you'll be able to choose which board you would like to be part of. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. Also, before our event, I would like to make a couple announcements on our upcoming events. The first one is a training workshop on how to become a better networker with Terry Goldfarb, who is a networking coach that works with companies across the US, giving them her tips and tricks of how to become a better networker. In this training workshop, she'll teach us everything we need to know about networking in the virtual space, and we're definitely going to learn a lot. After this event, we're also going to have a follow-up seminar with Terry where we can dive deeper into the different concepts and ideas that she talked about at our last event. From this event, we'll be able to fully understand how we can network the best way possible. And finally, for the upcoming community outreach event, I would like to pass it on to Jehu from the Community Outreach Board to give us an explanation of what's going on.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jehu. I'm part of the Community Outreach Board. And this event that we have is really just a way for students to get more engaged in helping the community. And what it is they'll be having the opportunity to deliver some food to local houses in the neighborhood of Fountain Valley. So hopefully we send hopefully a way for you all to come join us at this next event, and yeah, help come out to moving forward. Thank you. And then back to Jericho.
Thank you, Jehu, for that explanation. We'll now go ahead and start with the event. And we will now have Daisy Lee, the co-VP of the Human Resources Board, introduce our first executive speaker, William Hung.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daisy Lee, and I would like to introduce our first speaker for today's event, William Hung. He was only known as the She-Bang guy from American Idol. He has already been in business for 60 years and in government for another 8 years. But it was not the life that he was hoping for. 8 months later, he became a motivational speaker, a public speaking coach, and a professional poker player. He was finally able to get a clear mission on how to help people try something new without being judged or ridiculed. He believed that anyone can get clear about the next steps to take in their life in a short amount of time. During today's event, he will reveal some insights on how to overcome adversity while thinking like a CEO at the same time. Please welcome us, William Hung.
All right. Yes, thank you for that introduction, Daisy. We will now go ahead and turn to Selena, the co-VP of the Development Board, who will now introduce our second guest speaker, Elizabeth Yang.
Thank you, Jericho. Hi, guys. My name is Selena, and I would first like to thank everybody for coming here, being here at our very first Meet the Executive event of this semester. One of the wonderful people we have here with us today is Elizabeth Yang from the Law and Mediation Offices of Elizabeth Yang. During the time that I got to meet with Elizabeth Yang, I was thoroughly blown away and inspired by her optimism, endurance, and hard work. She was raised by a single mother from the age of 3 after her father suddenly passed away. Her mother just immigrated to America knowing limited English, but through continuous hard work, she became a strong entrepreneur and businesswoman. Mrs. Yang's mother was a significant influence on her growth in becoming the determined, diligent, and innovative woman she is today. She went to UC Berkeley for electrical engineering and computer science and graduated in just 2.5 years. Wait, she's the founder and attorney of the law and mediation firms of Elizabeth Yang, right? Now, how did this happen? Well, she believes that everybody will be in court at some point in their life and was purely just interested in law, so she went to the part-time evening program at the University of Laverne for law school. She enrolled in the part-time evening program to maintain her work schedule at Raytheon. However, her career path completely changed when she got an interview at a law firm through her network, and actually one of the reasons that she got the interview was her background in electrical engineering in computer science. Now, Mrs. Yang has her own successful law firm that covers multiple areas, including family law. Now, family law got added after Mrs. Yang had personal experience with a lengthy divorce. Following this, she released a book called The Big Secret. Now, spoiler alert, the big secret is that an individual's challenges are actually their best blessings, even though it might not seem that way at the moment. I am so excited to hear more from Mrs. Yang and for everybody to be truly inspired like I am. Please help me give a warm welcome to Elizabeth Yang.
Great introduction, Selena. With that, we will go ahead and transition into the Q&A portion of the event. If you have any questions, go ahead and go onto the participants portion of the Zoom and raise your hand. I will then go ahead and call in your name, where you can state your name, major, and graduation year, just to kind of introduce yourself, and then go ahead and answer your question, or ask your question. But to start off the event, our first question will be, what is your superpower? We can start off with William Hung.
My superpower is the ability to inspire people to change, inspire people to not give up their dreams. I've been thinking about what my superpower is throughout my last 16 years, but it all comes back to like when people say like, you inspire me, you make me think differently, you give me hope. So I'm very grateful to be part of this mission by leveraging my former American Idol experience.
So to answer that question, I guess my superpower is adaptability. So at a young age, you know, I've moved around a lot. I went to 5 different grade schools and middle schools. Yeah, we moved to many cities growing up, so it was like very unstable. And through those challenges, I was able to learn how to be strong and persevere. And I think, you know, I'm able to adapt pretty easily to a lot of different situations. For example, like during COVID, the pandemic, I'm usually a very social person. I have like events booked every day of the week, you know, part of a lot of different organizations and events. And all of a sudden I'm like locked down at home with no events to go to. But my adaptability allows me to be okay with that. And, you know, I think a lot of people have successfully adapted during this pandemic and found hobbies like cooking and gardening, you know, crocheting, you know, lots of different things to adapt to the changes we've encountered this year. And growing up, because of all the different schools that I went to, I never had a stable group of friends. You know, every time I moved to a new school, I would have to meet new people, learn about who the cool people are in school, make new friends. And that allows me to this day, to be able to meet strangers and make new friends with them very easily. And I believe I wouldn't have developed that talent if it wasn't for the challenges that I went through at a young age. So my superpower is adaptability. Thank you.
All right, thank you for sharing your superpower. Our next question is, how did you envision your life to go at our age? And how does it align with how it is now? We can go ahead and start with Elizabeth Yang for this question.
Sure. So at a young age, I actually like how my life is today is very different from what I had imagined back then. We just had a team meeting last week, and one of the questions was, what did you want to be when you were growing up? And back then, I wanted to be a pediatrician. Like, I loved children, and I interned in a pediatrician office because that was my goal. And then somehow one thing led to another. You know, life is full of unexpected turns and curves. And I became an engineer, you know, because I was good at math and science. and then became a lawyer after that, you know, and it was, none of it was planned. Like some people will tell you they wanted to be a lawyer when they were a little girl. That was not me. I had no idea what the field of law was growing up. You know, it was all pediatrician. And also back in the day, I, you know, never wanted kids. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to travel the world and be single and be happy. I don't need kids to like, you know, burden me and prevent me from living the life I want. And look at me now. I've got an 11-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. And I'm like, I love being a mom. So, you know, things happen in life. And I think we just get to be open to things that come, that get thrown our way, whether it's good or bad, you know, whether we think it's good or bad when it's thrown our way, because ultimately there's a good reason for it. We just get to accept everything. Thank you.
For me, in terms of like how I see my life and where my life is now, there's no way I would have predicted to become as an entrepreneur, a jack of all trades. Who knew when I started off studying as a civil engineering student at UC Berkeley? I love math and science since I was a child. I was great at it. I got straight A's in school. And that's the path I pursued because I thought I enjoyed it. But when I went to college and took those classes, I wasn't enjoying it as much as I thought I would. So one day I decided to perform at a school talent show just to try something new. Ricky Martin's She Bangs. And little did I know I would win the talent show. And then that's what gave me the confidence to audition for American Idol. And then my American Idol audition was the failure was viewed over 5 million times on YouTube. And of course, the standout phrase was when Simon said, thank you. You can't sing, you can't dance. So what do you want me to say? So, and I said, I already gave my best. I have no regrets at all. And I just thought I would go back to be a normal guy, normal student. I didn't expect to suddenly get all these opportunities to show up on TV, getting record contracts. There's no way anybody could have predicted that. But, you know, sometimes I agree with Elizabeth that everything in life happens for a reason. Maybe I'm meant to take on a different path. So that's why I make the most out of the opportunity. And now my mission is to help people try something new without being judged or ridiculed. I would say that my vision is to create a platform where people can try out different careers, different businesses. And it's not a simple vision. It's not easy. It could take 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. But ultimately, I want people to be able to explore different possibilities without spending as much time as money as I did.
Thank you. That was extremely inspiring. Our next question is, what are the adversities that help define who you are today? We can start with William Hung.
Ooh, I would say some of the major obstacles that I went through was right after I got famous from American Idol audition, because there were critics that said like, William Hung is the worst singer ever. William Hung portrays the biggest Asian stereotypes. Go back to school. I heard all of it. I mean, yes, I had many fans, but I also had many critics. So the way I deal with the negative criticism is that I decided that, you know, I had a choice. I could either live my life with courage or hide myself in fear and hope that people will forget about me. But hiding in fear is no way to live. You know, that's not a good way to live. So I chose to take the high road. In some ways, I never thought I would be an entertainer. You know, it's never my intention to, you know, script some really clever response and get famous from my American Idol audition. That's not who I am. That's not what I do. It's more like, you know, life just happens, and then I make the most of it. And then I would say that I find the best way to help others. In terms of like dealing with criticism, no matter what direction you go, you'll always get negative criticism because you cannot please everybody. So the way for me to handle the criticism over the years in a more effective way is to take in the constructive criticism, because at the same time, I need to acknowledge all my friends and mentors and my parents who supported me throughout these years. Otherwise, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So take in the constructive criticism and then leave the rest on the side.
So for me, I always welcome breakdowns and challenges in life, because I've come to learn, like, imagine if life was just always perfect. Everything went, your way exactly as planned, and there were never any breakdowns. How would we get any constructive feedback to know how we need to improve or how we need to grow? Right? We wouldn't. We would just be living every day like a flat line. Like it would just be, there's no ups and downs. And life is about having upside and downs. That's what makes it interesting and entertaining and fun, right? Without a mountain to climb, there wouldn't be that hike up. If everything was just flat, then you're just always on a plateau. So for me, like two of the most challenging things that I've had to go through in life has shaped me into who I am. And Selena, mentioned about it during her, great introduction. Thank you for that, Selena. So one of the things was I lost one of my parents at a very young age. My dad passed away suddenly when I was 3, and my mom had never worked a day in her life before that. So all of a sudden she was thrown into a situation where she needed to learn how to make money and raise 2 kids, myself and my younger brother, who was only 1, like at that time, like 2 toddlers, and make money, so it turned her into this like really powerful and strong woman. And I see her as my role model. And I think that's how I became who I am today. If it wasn't for my dad passing away, I don't think I would be the person I am today, definitely not. So a lot of times when we go through hardships, when people pass away in our lives, when we lose a loved one, or any challenges in life, there's always a good thing that comes about it. It's always happening for a reason. And even though there's pain, there's suffering, there's grief, but we get to, overcome that and become a stronger person and see what good something like that would create in our lives. When I went through my divorce, that was the second thing that was really tough for me. I experienced betrayal from the father of my 2 children, and, a lot of pain, a lot of grief. And we went through a 4-year-long divorce. That's a very long time to be fighting in courts, because there was a lot of anger. But then I went through a transformation training, and that taught me how to take responsibility and see things from a different perspective, because there's always a different perspective to see a different situation. And through that, I decided I don't want to fight anymore. I want to become friends, to co-parent, because we're going to have, 2 kids for the rest of our lives to raise, and maybe even grandkids in the future, and a lot of weddings and graduations to attend. So we became friends. And then from that developed my family law practice, which is, booming, unfortunately, during this pandemic, because everyone else is getting divorced now, after all the quarantines. So, everything really just happens for a reason. And I just encourage all of you, when you experience a challenge, embrace it and accept it, knowing that there's always a rainbow at the end of a thunderstorm.
All right, thank you for your answers. Our next question will be from Oscar Vasquez. So feel free to unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Oscar Vasquez. My major is in art. I'm looking into getting into animation. So the question I had for you guys was, what would you say is your work philosophy, and how does that give purpose to your work?
So I guess I can go first. So my work philosophy is you gotta work in something that you're passionate about, that you really enjoy. Like life is just way too short to be doing something that you're not looking forward to going to work. You don't feel like waking up in the morning, like you're just not happy about, and you're just, looking forward to getting off work. You know, like I love what I do for a living. Like I don't even see my job as a job. I love working with my team members, each and every one of them. You know, I enjoy helping my clients, you know, give them my knowledge to get them through a tough situation that I've personally been through. And like I'll take client calls on weekends, during evenings, you know, when I'm on vacation, because you know I just enjoy it. I don't see it as work. And sometimes like I love traveling, so I'll be traveling like outside of town, and then I'll miss work. I'll miss like my job, you know. So it actually doesn't matter if I'm like at home or in the office or traveling. I'm always, it's like it's all intermixed together. You know, I don't separate it because I'm passionate about it and I love, you know, the job that I'm doing. So find something you really love, and then it won't be called work anymore.
I agree with Elizabeth for finding joy and purpose in your work. One way that you can help that helps me do that, like I mentioned from my answer before, is about finding your spiritual mission. Like what gets you excited to wake up every day. And then the way as an entrepreneur, the way I decide like what activities to focus on is I decide whether an activity will align with my future mission as in some way or form. Like for example, when I do like personal shout outs or do live streams on a new platform called Live It, you know, does this drive forward my overall mission to inspire more people to keep chasing their dreams? That's really the question I asked myself. Another thing that I learned from experience is that it's not about working as hard as possible, because that's how you burn out. Like it's better to have to come up with that inspired energy, and like Elizabeth's suggestions were very good. Like when you know what you want in your life and what you want to achieve, that's how you have that inspired energy to, you know, put in 3 to 4 hours of focused work and then get amazing results. And then the rest of the time you can use it to invest in yourself, whether it's relationships, whether to learn something new, think some more, you know, play some games with find that it's all about this balance. It's all about creating the sustainable life that you want.
Great question, Oscar. Our next question will be from Jehu, so feel free to unmute yourself now.
Hi there, I'm Jehu. Thank you for introducing me, Jericho. I am majoring in accounting and finance, and my graduation year is going to be in 2021, December. The question I had for both the speakers is just, how is it that, like, what advice do you have for students that are kind of like trying to stay committed to themselves, and how can we like stay committed to ourselves while dealing or like living with grief in a way?
Okay, I'll take on this one first, because I actually went through a depression period, not too long ago, where I'm based in Los Angeles, you know, and when I saw the riots, that's not too far away from where I live, I thought the world is coming to an end. You know, there were a couple of days where I just like my brain was shut down. I don't want to continue with my life. It's like, what's the point of trying so hard? So the way I deal with that is like I talk to my friends, I talk to my mentors, I talk to people I trust, and they told me, you know, you need to see the world as an evolving world. Yes, there's all these crazy negative things that's happening around us, including the wildfires, for example. But this will pass. Like now today, you know, at the fire finally subsided, you know, the air quality is normal again. We can take a walk outside. And I'm sharing this example. It's the same thing in your life. You know, when I finally earned my master's in business, it was one of the hardest accomplishments for me. I had to write the 60, 70 page thesis paper to get there. And I had to research on a company, for a poker company that I never thought I would ever do in my life. Like, you know, so it's whatever the hard obstacle is that's preventing you from getting there. Like it's almost like that mental resilience. There's a way to get there. You need to have that internal belief, because if you don't have the internal belief for getting there, that it's hard to get there. Because I say that like from my experience, you know, what you believe is reality, because there's always two sides to it. Like one side is like, it's like, okay, this is too hard, this is mission impossible. On the other side, it's like, oh, this is possible. I can do this. I can find a way to do this.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what William said. And I would like to add on that and encourage you guys to write your commitments down. Um, have any of you ever watched the Secret? There's a video called The Secret on YouTube. Raise your hand if you've watched it before. Oh, okay, yeah, several of you have. Great. I see several hands, but some were shaking their heads. So if you haven't, go on YouTube and watch The Secret. It's got a lot of great speakers, really powerful people on there. I watched it like 10 years ago and it's really changed my life. But the big thing is write your commitments down. Okay, so write your commitments down and then write 3 whys, why you are committed to this commitment. Okay, good. The whys are really important. Like if you want to graduate from school, why do you want to graduate? Is it because your mom told you to, or someone told you to, or is it because you really want to do it? Because the reason's got to come from internally. Okay, so write it and then put that piece of paper somewhere where you can see it every day. So I update my commitments on my paper every 3 to 6 months, and it's hanging on the back of my bedroom door. So you can hang it, on somewhere in your bedroom, on a wall, on your bathroom mirror, next to your monitor, somewhere where you can just see it. Like you don't even have to read it every day, but just by it being visible, it will automatically manifest itself. But you got to make that first move first, which is to know what your commitment is, write it down with your whys, and put it somewhere within your space.
All right, great advice. Just a reminder to all our participants that if you have a question that you're thinking of asking, just go ahead and raise your hand under participants and I'll make sure to call you out so you can ask that question. But for now, I wanted to ask, what was the biggest risk that you took? And we can go ahead and start with Elizabeth Yang.
I would say I've taken lots of risks and still take risks every day. But one of the biggest risks I took was to start my own company. So when I had my, when I became an engineer and then became an attorney, I was always working for a company and it's very stable, like the law firms I worked for, it paid really well. But I wanted to create something for myself. And it was really scary because when I first came out, I had no clients and I had to give up my stable income, for maybe no income if I didn't get any clients to come in. So it was a huge risk, and it's a risk that every entrepreneur's got to take. But I'm glad I did it, because otherwise I wouldn't be where I am today. So, certain things in life, like if you're on the edge of do it or don't do it, I always say just do it, because the worst thing that can happen is you make a mistake and you learn from it. But if you don't say yes to it, then you'll never know. So if you're ever at a crossroads where it's take action or don't take action, I suggest to always take action.
I love this question because like what you might expect to hear from me, the obvious answer is that like my biggest risk is auditioning for American Idol, but that's actually not true. The biggest risk that I've took was actually quitting my government job as of January 2020, because after American Idol, I made good money, for the first 4 years. And then I decided maybe I can settle to start my own family, get a stable job, get a stable paycheck. I could just save and invest my money for the rest of my life. And what could go wrong? Well, after about 8 years working for the government, I feel that there's something missing in my life. I feel like there's much more to me than hiding behind my cubicle. And the question that's always burning in my mind starting last year was like, why am I working so hard chasing somebody else's dream instead of my own? So that's what pushed me to start playing and poker professionally. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy. I'm not advocating this for most of you here, but I started playing poker professionally. But what you can learn from this is that it's the same thing for you when you start your own side hustle or your own business. Because I treat it like a business. I studied, I put in the time, I changed my life routines because of that. And then I had to prove to myself that I could make a living, a much better living from poker compared to just my day job. And I did. So that's why I was confident when I quit my job in January that, hey, with my poker going well, with my investments going well, with other side hustles going well, that my life would be fantastic. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. So I don't get to play the live casinos anymore. And online poker is a totally different beast. So, you know, and it's like over the last 4 or 5 months, I still could, you know, make a nice side income, but I don't feel great about it because I feel like I'm just trading time for money. I feel like I have to play like a robot, and ultimately it doesn't get me closer to my life's mission. So that's why I decided to pivot and focus on speaking and showing up for virtual events now. You know, so so in terms of like for you, when you think about the life that you want to go for, find a way to validate and test your business. You know, like let's say you have a job. The last thing I would tell people now is to quit their jobs without testing their side hustles. You know, it would be smarter to test your side hustle for 3 to 6 months. Make sure you like it. Make sure you're getting the income that you need, and then you take it to the next level.
Okay, perfect. And now, what important habit do you have now that you wish you had adapted earlier? Let's go ahead and start with William Hung.
Ooh, the biggest habit change for me is I take my morning routine very seriously. Even if you were to ask me like 3 or 6 months ago, I wouldn't think about like meditation, journaling, gratitude. It's like, what is that? It's like concept from Mars, from the alien world. but now, because of the pandemic, that is something very I need to take very seriously, because I realized how much the mental health, the happiness affects your productivity, affects the result that you produce for yourself and other people.
Yeah, for me, I just write things down, you know, same as what I encouraged you guys to do earlier. Like I have my planner here, everything like in my day, any to-do list, any meeting, anything I got to remember, I write it down, you know, because in today's day and age, our thoughts are so fleeting. Like you go on social media and you're just like every post takes 1 second to process, and then it's over, and then it's over, and we're moving on to the next thing. So if you don't write down the important things that you want to do, it's just going to be another thought that comes and then goes, comes and then goes. That's why it's so important to write things down. So I have my planner where I write everything I got to do down, and then I check it off as I complete it. And then William was talking about, you know, gratitude. So I also have a gratitude journal where I write in every morning. And in the morning, it'll have like 3 things that I am grateful for. You know, a few lines to talk about, this is how I'll make today great. And then a positive affirmation, you know, like I am a connected, patient, awesome leader, something like that. And then at the end of the day, you write down what is your good deed for the day, how you will improve, and great things I experienced today. And just taking like 2 minutes every morning, 2 minutes at night to write things down in your gratitude journal, it just changes like your entire day. You know, they say like one positive thought in the day, in the beginning of a day, affects your entire day. So that's a great habit that I encourage all of you guys to have, is write things down.
Yeah, that sounds great. And for our next question, Amira Diaz had a question. So go ahead and unmute yourself now.
Thank you so much for coming. I think you talked about a little bit, but just to elaborate, you know, based on the work that's happening right now, of course, with situations, COVID and so forth, I was wondering, has it made it harder for you to communicate both age group, a little older and younger generation, just because they may have a different perspective of how to communicate digitally? And if so, how has that changed?
I guess I can start. So, you know, in my team, for example, we have team members of all different ages, you know, starting like in their early 20s, maybe even younger. Yeah, all the way to like in their 70s. And so I do see that the older folks had some challenges with technology, you know, like jumping on Zoom or, you know, just working remotely. But just hold them in like, you know, a high space and see that they are capable of doing it, because I have seen that they are able to learn. And everybody, no matter what age, is learning how to use a computer and be on Zoom and, you know, check email, like everything. Like my mom, you know, she avoided email for the longest time, and now she's like forwarding me like endless stuff every day. So I can't even get her to stop, and she's like always on YouTube. So just have faith and know that no matter how old anybody is, they can always learn.
Maribel, I would say like in terms of like talking to different people across different generations, it comes back to like knowing what they need and what they're looking for, the bigger mission, whether they are at one of your employees, whether they are part of your team, even as an independent contractor. You know, they are human beings after all. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing that I found very helpful because of what you mentioned about the pandemic is how to be graceful, how to be like empathetic and understanding. Like for example, like when someone is late updating my website, like before, maybe like, what's going on? I pay you all this money. You know, why are you not doing this? Why are you late? But now I'm coming from a place of more understanding because of the world situation. It's like, okay, we agreed to get this website done by the end of September. What happened? I haven't heard from you the last few days. You know, come from a place of understanding and see what's going on instead of quick to blame somebody.
All right, perfect. Thank you for the question, Maribel. Our next question will be from Mark Wax, so feel free to unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Mark Wax. I am a sophomore currently in getting a degree in business administration, human resources management. So those questions were really great about finding, you know, your employees or your coworkers' motivations. I think that's extremely important. My question is, are you both like, would you say that you're more like naturally motivated in a lot of different ways? Or are you more motivated for the things, for like specific things that you have more intrinsic motivation for? I guess that would be my question.
Okay, I'll start with this one. For me, like the intrinsic motivation, I am I consider myself to be one of the laziest entrepreneurs because I'm not someone that's naturally motivated. Like if I have a different choice, maybe I just sleep all day and play video games all day. So for me, finding my motivation is always been a struggle. But the way that I get over that struggle is I tell myself that, hey, you know, I'm investing for my future. Like when I work hard for the next 5 to 10 years, I would create a much better life for my parents, because for my parents, they are in the retirement age. So, you know, I really need to work hard now to keep growing my business. So that's how I stayed motivated. The other thing that helps me stay motivated is to talk to people that have similar mission. Like someone that's spreading inspiration to population with disability. You know, I recently connected with a new live streamer that she motivates me too. It's like, hey, we are both showing up every single day consistently the right way to our audiences. So, you know, that's how you can find that motivation. But to answer your question, I would say that I'm not the most intrinsically motivated person, but somehow I remind myself, hey, this is the mission, this is life I want to create, therefore I need to put in that hard work.
That's a great answer, William. Yeah, so I agree. Like the people you surround yourself with really make a big impact on who you are. They say like you are the average of the five. Yeah, Jay's got the number 5 up. You're the average of the 5 people you spent the most time with. So you got to be really careful about who you choose as friends or people who surround you, because I'll bet you, like, even if you pick the most motivated person in the world and you make him spend a year with 5 super lazy people who sit around and do nothing, watch how he's going to change in a year. He's probably not going to be the same motivated person he was at the beginning of the year. So, I think I am motivated today because of my mom, and of how the childhood and the environment we lived in growing up. I think if I had been surrounded by, a different family environment or a different childhood, I wouldn't be the same. I wouldn't have the same personality as I have today. And today, like, I surround myself with amazing team members. I'm always networking, to connect with, amazing motivated individuals like Jay, Razi, and, just join different organizations because you never know who you'll meet. And all of you guys, just by you guys even being here, being part of this group, you're already making the right choices, to surround yourself with good people. So just keep it up and be aware of who you're spending time with.
Yeah, thank you. That makes so much sense. And I think a lot of us are struggling because it's a virtual environment, because like on campus, we all kind of naturally gravitated to each other and supported each other. And now, it's all more up to us. And so that makes a lot of sense. And it kind of allows me to forgive myself a little bit more, in this moment. So thank you.
All right, perfect. And the next question that we wanted to ask you both was, how do you stay calm and emotionally stable during times of adversity? We can go ahead and start with Elizabeth.
So you guys know the word responsibility, right? If you break down that word, what does it break down to, right? It becomes response and ability. So having responsibility is actually determined by your ability to respond to situations. So, we get thrown situations all the time and we can choose how we respond to it. And when I make a response, I ask myself, how is this response serving me? If it's serving me well, then great, I'll keep it up. But for example, if something makes me angry and I'm like super angry and I'm like furious and I'm just like, I can't think, I'm like just like physically, feeling the pang of the anger. I'm like, how is that serving me? I'm sure all of you guys have been angry about things before, like it doesn't. So then if it doesn't, why am I choosing that response? I have the ability to respond the way I choose. So I will shift my response and be like, okay, instead of being angry about the situation, what else can I do? Maybe I can communicate with the person with patience. Maybe I can there's so many different possibilities. So I always ask myself that question. How is my response serving me? And is it? And if it's not, then you get to choose. It's always look, stop, choose, and make the action. But the main thing is understanding that you have the choice of what action to take. You don't have to be angry, or frustrated or upset or whatever it is. You can make a choice and shift.
I like Elizabeth's points about choosing how you respond in a difficult situation. For me, I would say that to add on to it, it's also like how to speak your truth. And I would say one of the best things that you can do to shift your mindset is to always be respectful of the other person. Like mentally, you hold the other person in high regard, because when you mentally thinking how I'm holding you in high regard, I really respect you, you mean a lot to me. Whatever that comes out of your mouth and your heart, it's going to be a lot more calm, a lot more sensible. So that's a mindset part of it that can help you. I would say there are some frustrating examples recently, like in my life, in my business. For example, like the website designer that just couldn't get things on track, that like it's still under construction for my updates. like that's okay. It happens. It's okay, you know. Oh, I could leverage Instagram. I can find other ways to put myself out there. It's not the end of the world, you know. So like there's no, and getting angry doesn't really solve the problem at hand either, like Elizabeth mentioned. So the best way to go about it is to do your best with what you've got, you know. And but very important though, what I learned from my life experience is that you still need to share the truth. You do not, even though we want to be calm, we want to be nice, we want to be respectful, we don't want to start sugarcoating the truth, because then that hurts both parties. It doesn't serve anybody. Like for example, if I'm not happy about the business problem that I have, I'm not gonna just say like, oh, it's okay. You can wait until October or November to update my website. That's not acceptable. You know, I paid you a lot of money, so you have to find the fine line.
All right, awesome. I know a really important topic that you guys have discussed in your advice was having the right mindset. So I wanted to ask what your advice was for developing a growth mindset and kind of sustaining that through adversity. We can go ahead and start with William Hung.
I would say in terms of developing the growth mindset, for me, it's more like an internal choice that I make every day. I feel like if I'm not growing, then I'm dying inside. That's really why my life has so many reinventions, like major reinventions, whether it's from my former entertainment business to quitting my government job. And then now I'm just continuing to explore new ventures. Like I want to challenge myself. I want to learn something new every single day. So in terms of like how you develop that growth mindset is to I would say the one of the best things you can do is like, what is one new thing I can learn each day? It could be a small thing. It doesn't have to be like for example, let's say you're learning about coding. I have a friend that's learning about coding right now. You're not gonna be able to learn how to code in a new language in a day. It's gonna take a few months or maybe in a few years, depending how complex the language is. It's just like learning any other language in life. But it's about like, okay, well, I want to do this because it's gonna help me serve my clients better. It's gonna help me take care of my people better. Whatever it is, right? The overall goal, and that's how you develop that growth mindset.
Yeah, I love that. What William just said about picking one thing, even just focusing on one thing to grow each day. You know, you can even ask yourself at the end of the night, how did I grow today? You know, like I went through this experience, or I went through this breakdown, or I made this mistake. You know, any little thing is growth, because if you're not growing, you're not staying stagnant, you're actually falling behind. You know, like just like inflation. If you have $1 today, it's not $1 tomorrow. If you're not growing, it's actually less money because everything else is growing and taxes are going up and interest, like everything's going up. So if you keep the same and don't grow, you're falling behind. You're not staying the same. So you got to keep growing and just having that mindset that if you don't grow, you're going to fall behind. And then again, surrounding yourself with people with the same mindset to remind you, you know, everyone needs a support system. In Chinese, because I'm Chinese, the character for person it looks like this. It looks like one line leaning on the other line. This is the Chinese character for human, like for person. So it just shows that human beings are dependent on one another. We're not put on this earth to be alone, you know, and that's why, like, you know, COVID is really tough for everybody, you know, to be like quarantined and not be able to, you know, see other people, you know, but fortunately we can see each other through the computer screen. You know, imagine if there was no technology, it would be even tougher. But we need other people in our lives. So surround yourself with people of the like mindset and be inspired. They tell you when you're having a bad day, your friends you hang out with will be like, oh, we're growing in this way and that way, and then it'll lift you up. And then when they're having a bad day, you share how you're growing and you lift them up. That's what support groups are for. So people in your lives are very important.
All right, awesome. Thank you for the advice. And kind of going off of the idea that, people in your life are really important and those support groups are like critical for helping you develop like yourself. What is your advice for developing relationships with new people? And especially right now, how do you maintain those relationships in the virtual world? We can go ahead and start with Elizabeth.
Sure. So I actually think COVID is like great because now that people can't see each other in person anymore, they're actually like picking up the phone to call each other. They're scheduling Zoom meetings, and in the Zoom meetings, they're actually like looking at each other's faces. Like, I don't see any of you guys like just, on your phones and stuff, because you're already looking at a screen. And so I actually feel like with this new technology, it's bringing people closer. Like I'm able to see everyone's faces, who have their videos on right now. Whereas if I were in a room, you guys might all be facing the same direction and you won't be able to see each other's faces. So there's a lot of advantages that's coming out of this pandemic, that I think will stick around even after things go back to normal.
I would say that since Elizabeth already talked about like maintaining relationships, you also asked about building new relationships, and that's very important. So the way to build new relationships, here's my secret to my business success. Always start off with a compliment and end with a question. So when you compliment somebody's work, you are already standing out in a positive way. That's how I get on the best virtual speaking events and podcast interviews. So I would mention like, oh, I listened to your Chasing Dreams podcast. I loved your authentic energy, whatever it is, genuine compliment. And then I ask a question, hey, how can I help you and make your show even better? Here's the experience. Here's what I can bring to the table. So I'm end with a question, and guess what? I got on. So it's not that hard. You can do this for anything else in your life to start building the new relationships. And then the other thing that's helpful for me, I realized that over the years, it's not a number. Because everybody is it's just as important as another person. It's not about 5,000 friends or 10,000 followers on Facebook or Instagram. It's about the quality of the relationships. So now I dedicate more time to maybe like my inner circle, maybe the 100 to 200 top fans, instead of worrying about staying connected with everybody, because I'm only one person. It's impossible. So it's better to dedicate to a few meaningful relationships.
All right, perfect. And then I know Elizabeth kind of touched on this in her previous answer, but what are some adaptations that you've made to kind of succeed in the virtual environment that you hope to kind of continue to use to succeed once we kind of get out of this virtual environment and back into the real world? You can start with William Hung.
I'm sorry, I missed the question. Can you repeat the question one more time?
Oh yeah, of course. I was wondering if there were any adaptations that you've made to succeed in the virtual environment that you hope to continue to use once we get back into our offices and back to school and back in the real world.
Yes. So for me, one of the biggest lessons I learned since as a professional speaker is how I need to get to the point a lot faster with my communication. Because I'm used to like doing live speaking events, and in the live speaking events, people are they kind of have to listen to you if they attend your event, But now online, if they don't like you, they could just turn you off within the first 30 seconds. so it's the same thing, right? Like we have less patience in terms of like listening to the back end story and other irrelevant details. So I would say the biggest thing that I learned in terms of communication is let the people know how you can help, how you can bring value to the table first, and then back it up with why you are the right person, bring in the relevant examples or whatever. So it's the overall communication that I had to shift because of the virtual world.
Yeah, for me, staying connected is one of the most important things that, I've realized COVID has created. During the first 2 months where everything was on lockdown, it was like really tough, like our office was closed, everyone was home working separately, no one could, see each other. And so we implemented weekly team meetings on Zoom. So even though everyone's in their own houses, we can come on Zoom and still connect on a regular basis and update each other on what's going on. And so even though our office has been open now since June, we still keep those team meetings, and we're still doing it on Zoom, because of social distancing. So I think this is like something that will continue implementing. And also, like, it's allowed people to work remotely. And I've realized, like, people can work just as efficiently, even when they're not in the same office. Like, everyone's working from home and they're still getting their job done, and we're still able to help our clients. So I think in the long run, a lot more people are going to continue working remotely, and the schools, they might continue doing more distance learning classes because it's working out. My kids are doing Zoom classes every day and they're still learning. So I think this is, it's going to stick around for a while.
Sounds great. And we also have a question from the chat from Annie, who asks, how do you manage your time? She sometimes finds it difficult for her to kind of do that since she's always surrounded by friends and family, and she's always, caught up and balancing her friends' family with work and school. So what's your advice on helping, manage your time? We can start with Elizabeth.
Sure. Back to writing things down. I'm like repeating that for the third time now. Have your planner and write down what you're planning on doing that day, because it's easy for things that are urgent to come in to your schedule and overcome the things that are important. All right. So you got to make that distinction. What's important versus what's urgent? All right. So make sure the important things are on your list so that you will get around to doing them. Otherwise, urgent stuff, a message comes in, a phone call, an email. Like, we have so many ways and methods of communication nowadays that you can spend all day just checking your email and there's like new stuff coming in. Right? So write down the things that are important and you will make that time to get around to it. And I always say, like, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. You're never too busy for anything. If someone ever says I'm too busy for it, it actually means I'm not prioritizing it or I'm not willing to prioritize it. There's never I'm too busy. It's just an excuse.
Yeah, I love that. Like what Elizabeth's saying. So, like a specific like tip that you can use to manage your time more effectively. What I had to start doing is I had to like eliminate like how to say it. I have a tendency to overestimate how much I could get done within a short term and underestimate how much I could get done for the long term. And it turns out to be true. There's a lot of research studies that shows that. So in terms of like setting realistic goals for managing your time, like for me, I only like set about like 4 hours of focused work sessions each day, because that way it's more realistic, because it's inevitable. Things will come up. You need to make time for your family and your loved ones. You need to make time for your client calls or whatever, sudden emergencies. So be realistic in terms of how much you can get done within a short amount of time. For your case, if you're like, if it's, I'm not sure your context, but if it's related, maybe like starting a side hustle, or learning a new skill that's very important to you, I would block out 1 hour a day each week. Very important. It's more effective to do 1 hour a day rather than 4 hours on a weekend.
All right, sounds good. And with that, we'll be ending our Q&A portion of the event and transitioning into the executive breakout portion. So for the breakout portion, we will be splitting the participants into 2 groups. One will be with Elizabeth first, and one will be with William Hung first. And after about 30 minutes, we'll go ahead and switch the groups so everyone has a chance to get a more one-on-one experience with both the executives. For executives, please share one nugget of advice with our students. And then for our students, if you can share your name, major, and graduation year, that would be perfect.
Okay, I just opened up the breakout rooms, so you should see something on your screen. Feel free to just go into those breakout rooms and we'll see you soon. Hi, Marisol and, oh, okay, somebody went. Everybody went. Hi, is this Daisy from HR?
Somehow I got the wrong link.
Wait, I'm unable to hear you. Can you repeat yourself?
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, somehow I got the wrong name on here when I'm signed in.
Oh no, let me go ahead. Do you want to?
Should I change it real quick before I go in?
Yeah, change your name and then I'll assign you to a room. Oh, where did he go?
I think he is already assigned to the room.
No, he wasn't assigned. Maybe he just logged off really quick. He'll probably be back.
I'm not sure.
Oh, there he is. Hi, Andrew. I'm going to go ahead and assign you to breakout room number 1. Okay, looks like he was assigned perfectly.
All right. All
Awesome.
right. Well, so far so good. I think it's going well.
Yeah, Jay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do something right now. 1 second.
Uh-huh.
Just bear with me.
Sure.
Oh, I can't do it. I was gonna create a breakout room for you and I, because this is recorded, so it feels weird to just have a conversation while it's being recorded.
Okay. Do you want to create one then?
I can't figure it out.
Make me host and I'll do it.
I'm not sure if I can make you host right now. It won't. Let's see.
Well, I can talk you through it because I do it all the time.
Yeah, do that.
So just go to breakout rooms.
Yes.
And there should be a button that says add a room.
Add a room. It doesn't. It just says unassigned breakout room number 1, breakout room number 2, broadcast message, and close all rooms. I think I would have had to make it in the beginning.
No, there's still, make me the host.
Okay. Hopefully it doesn't mess up their breakout rooms. Let's do J, make host. Okay, you should be host.
Yep. Yeah, I see I've been assigned to a room.
I think that's why. So maybe unassigned yourself?
I don't know why. For some reason, I'm not able to add a room. And I do it all the time. All the time I add rooms.
I think it's because I assigned you to a room already. It's okay.
But I could still be, I mean, moving me out of that room shouldn't be a problem.
It's not a big deal, actually.
No, it's fine. So we'll just get recorded.
Yeah.
But,
do you mind?
Go ahead.
Oh wait.
You can pause the recording.
I can't on my end. I have to be host again. I lost all.
Hi.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's nice as well.
All right, everyone. I just want to give one last special thanks to everyone who came. We really appreciate you supporting our event, and we hope you learned a lot. Also, a special thanks to Elizabeth Yang and William Hung for answering all our questions and giving us as much advice that we need to, continue to succeed and get through our adversity. In terms of the recognition awards, usually we'd be able to hand out a little thank you award to William Hung and Elizabeth Yang. But of course, since we're virtually, we're actually just gonna ship it out to you. So keep an eye out on it because it's in the mail right now. And finally, these Meet the Executive events happen once a month. So next month, we'll be having a panel of HR employees who will give us advice on navigating our career. So stay tuned for that. Rosie is actually posting in the chat right now of where you can RSVP. But if you aren't able to do that right now, you can go ahead and look at our website or any of our social media accounts for that information and just to keep up with those events. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen right now and we're gonna take a quick group photo.
Awesome. So if everybody can have their cameras on, it looks like you do. I'm going to take a screenshot. So smile. Awesome. Thank you guys all so much. I hope you guys continue to stay safe and healthy and have a great weekend.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, let's connect.